All right, hello everyone. So here is our prep video for this coming Sunday, August 1st, for Youth Sunday School. The scripture block, Doctrine and Covenants 84, verses 54 through 57. Basically, the Lord is saying, look, your minds have been darkened, you're struggling with unbelief, and the whole church is under condemnation. Why? Because you've forgotten the Book of Mormon. So this week, we are going to remember the Book of Mormon. We are going to have an amazing race around the Book of Mormon, essentially. So how we're going to do this is have stations set up in the rooms using, I have these big flip charts here. And so we'll have these big flip charts, around the walls in the room. And so we'll go through what at each of these stations, what the kids will be doing. So we'll have the first station here is called Say What? And basically the premise here is they use the pronunciation guide that's at the back of the Book of Mormon. In the app, it's at the very bottom after all the books. And they sort of use the letters on the side here to go through and figure out, what are the most sort of unique names. They write down the name, the pronunciation of how you say it, and then like what it is. So in this case is Aha, he's the son of Zoram. Down here you have one, Z Nephi. Who's an army leader. Like it's a reference. It's unclear if that's like a person or maybe that's a small like city, like an army of that city. So anyway, they'll go through, and depending on how many groups you have in the room, maybe they end up doing like 4 or 5 of these. And so they leave space for the other groups. All right. So that's going to be one station. The next station, again, like they'll be on these big flip charts. I'm just showing you these small examples. And then I'll spend some extra time making the big flip charts look good. This is the Freiberg forgery station after Arnold Freiberg, who painted all the paintings of the Book of Mormon with really buff guys. So at this station, basically you're going to use the Book of Mormon Gospel Art book. So you can find that, again, it will be in the Gospel Library app, or we'll have a Gospel Art book there from the library. And you're going to pick one of the scenes from the Book of Mormon and have everyone in the group will have their own piece of paper, and they kind of recreate their own version of that scene. And they can be creative, in their own style, however they want. And then they'll tape it to the big flip chart on the wall. So we'll get to see everybody's Freiberg forgery. All right. And it doesn't have to be an Arnold Freiberg painting. It can be just any scene from the Gospel Art book. All right, the next station will be hidden figures of the Book of Mormon. The idea here is to use the clues below to discover which female figure it refers to. So a couple examples. Who is the grandma of Enos? Anyone? So Enos's father is Jacob. Jacob's father is Lehi. So therefore Sariah, right, is Enos's grandma. So something like that. The next one, she plays a key role in the conversion of an entire Lamanite kingdom. That'd be Abish. So interestingly enough, there's only 3 women in the Book of Mormon named that are not, that it's not Mary or a figure from the Old Testament. There's several women that are not named. So this is kind of interesting one, right? Because women don't get as much text time as some of the men. And so we're going to spend some time on this one. All right. The next station is called the Batty Bunch, and my wife said not to do a singing version of the Brady Bunch here, so I'll avoid that. This I will have on the flip chart. I'll have these boxes drawn here with a square, and then, like it says here, strengths, weaknesses, famous quote. So then when they get here, I'll have a little handout that will profile several of the baddest dudes in the Book of Mormon. They're just going to choose one. They can draw a picture of the bad dude in here. So it's like a baseball card kind of thing, right? The baseball card, what was that bad dude's strengths, weaknesses, and then a famous quote from that story of that bad dude. And so then, again, depending on group size, maybe they can do 2 of these, maybe they only get to do 1. But the point at this station, they'll use the profile list that I have to be able to create the character profile card. That will be on the flip chart. All right. Then we'll have the Not Your Mama's Map quest. So on the flip chart will be drawn, this is an example here of a rendering of an example of a Book of Mormon map. Then what the kids will have is something that looks like this. The numbers underneath the blanks represent a question. The questions will look something like this. Question number 1, it says 5th letter, which means 5th letter of the answer. So which is more north, Nephi or Bountiful? You look at the map, which city is more north? You've got Nephi down here, Bountiful up here, so Bountiful is more north. You'd count over to the 5th letter, that's T, and then they would write the letter T on the blank for their clue. All right, so then that's how they would do the Not Your Mama's Map Quest. And yes, MapQuest is still around. I just had to double check. The last station is called Symbol Sense. And so this is where we're going to have some symbols from the Book of Mormon, and they're going to find where those symbols are referenced and what the symbol stands for. And so I didn't space this out good here, but they'll actually write this on the flip chart. And then the symbols will be kind of compared against each other. So you'll have the symbol of the Tree of Life versus the symbol of the Great Pit. They find those, they write what it means, and then it's interesting when you contrast those two symbols. Iron rod versus chains of hell, hard heart, firm mind. You get the idea. And so I'll have several of these filled out, and they will just write, again, where it's referenced and what the symbol stands for on the flip chart. And how many groups we have will really depend on how many they do, maybe 2 or so, 2 sets. All right, so that's how it will go. Structure-wise, the intro will be really short. We'll just intro the Doctrine and Covenants 84. The intro will also briefly explain there's 6 stations. We won't have 6 groups in each class, I imagine. We'll end up with maybe 3 or 4 groups. So there should always be stations opened. Adult leaders will be with the group. So you will move with your group. You'll kind of plan, like, see which one is open. You'll move to one that's open with your group. It won't be a round robin because some stations may take a little bit longer than others. So I don't want it to just be like, time's up, everybody's got to rotate. Because we have so many stations, groups should be able to just finish and then move to a station that's open. All right, so let me know what questions you have. Any other thoughts about this? I'll have this stuff ready to go on Sunday, and should be super fun, very structured. Hope it's a great opportunity for us to just get to know the youth a little bit more, show them that we're serious about these learning activities, and that it can be enjoyable while we're learning stuff. So see y'all on Sunday.